Star Wars Unlimited enthusiasts, welcome to round 1 of June 11th, Star Wars Unlimited Locals Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. And for round 1, you got myself bringing my showcase Piett with Piett Red going up against Aurra Force Red, a very interesting take on Aurra Singh. So let's discuss these two decks before we jump into game number 1. Piett is all about capital ships. If you haven't seen him before, you've all been living under a rock. He's got some very strong support since getting released in Jump to Lightspeed. At first, it really felt like he was going to lose a lot of his steam once rotation happened, but he still has some very good support cards in this format, and Law gave him some more really good stuff to play around with, and the soon coming Ashes of the Empire will also give him some more good ships to play around with. But Red is more about aggression, punching your opponent down fast and quick, using, of course, all of the capital class vessels that you get in Red. Unlike Blue, where Blue has a little bit more of a control setup, this one is more of an aggro strategy for Piett. And then Aurra Singh states on her front side tapper, you may defeat an enemy unit with 1 remaining HP. She does flip on 6. Sorry, Piett is, if you haven't seen him, tap him. You may reduce the cost of your next capital ship you play by 1. He flips on 5, and all your capital class vessels, when played, are all reduced at a play cost of 2. And then when Aurra Singh flips, then you can defeat a non-leader unit with 5 remaining HP. It's very interesting to see a Force Red strategy here instead of the typical Aurra playstyle, which is more or less just play Data Vault and play a hard control strategy. That's more of what Aurra really wants to play, but it's very interesting to see someone else trying out a different style of Aurra Singh. For Piett always bounces between red and blue. Kind of depends on people's playstyle. They want to play the more control side of Piett with the blue package, blue villainy package, or do you want to play more with the red villainy package being more aggressive? But nonetheless, I decided to go with red here instead of blue. I think I like red a little bit more for Piett than I do like for blue. Nonetheless, it's time to get into game number 1. So here we go, folks, for game number 1. My opponent's going to go first here. They're going to go for do or do not. They only get to draw 1 card. If they use the force, they are able to draw 2. I'm going to go for a BT1 on the ground here. Then we're immediately going to pass from there. Again, another thing I like about red is that we do get access to, of course, bombardment, planetary bombardment as well, which is a very nice card, as we're going to see come down of, and it falls in Fused Brawler, but does not get the 2 experience tokens because you did not trigger the win played skill. So anyways, we're going to swing 2 at the base, and then 1 damage coming from the BT1 because we did mill a red card here, and then we're going to go for 000 coming down the board state just so we can combo, of course, with the BT1, allowing us to, of course, allow us to put back red cards to the bottom of our deck to then deal 1 damage to our opponent's base, allowing us to hit for 5. And my opponent's immediately going to scoop that one up. They kind of just do not have any plays there. I do show I have the interrogation droid as well if I just need to be, but honestly, I kind of show it because I hate having interrogation droid in my hand because I have to pay for 5 in this matchup because interrogation droid is red, yellow, and black. I still have to pay 5, and I hate always seeing it with this version of Piett as well as blue, where you just draw into it. Even in decks like Yularen and red, I hated seeing it in my hand because I'm like, I have to either hold in my hand to pay for 5, which is really in the late game, or I can just kind of see what else I can do with it. Typically with Piett and with Yularen, you want to get it off of the invisible hand, not be seeing it in your hand and playing it for 5. But nonetheless, game number 1 goes to me. That was a quick one there. My opponent just scooped that one up. They really had nothing they could really do, and I was good. Basically, they told me there would be no way for them to do anything at all. So with that said, we're moving into game number 2. Here we go, folks. Game number 2. My opponent is going to start off here with an Acolyte of the Beyond. Again, on attack, when defeated, you get to gain the force, and then I'm going to drop a BT1 onto the ground as well. So it's really nice to see that the Acolyte is, of course, now here, meaning that now the force base can actually be starting to be triggered here 100%. So we're going to tap a 2 here. We're going to go for the rifle here, the rifle that allows you to tap a guy, and then you could target one opponent's guys on the board, and then you're going to be able to then be able to trigger its effect as well. So basically you tap it, then you can target one of your opponent's guys, their life becomes 1 and you go with that. Anyways, I'm not going to let that stand. I'm going to go use BT1 to attack and then BT1's effect to then hit the probe droid and then allowing me to immediately be able to kill off the Acolyte. But it does trigger its when defeated skill. Win defeat skill of being able to gain the force here. Anyways, we're going to go for Infused Brawler. We're going to be able to use the 2 there to immediately gain 2 experience, use the force to immediately gain 2 experience tokens, and every time it attacks, it does lose 1 experience token. We're going to then swing at the base again. We're going to then mill a Folger Matrix, dealing 1 damage to, of course, our friend, and then we're going to use the Piett skill to then put out the Blockade Runner, which again becomes kind of impactful here in this matchup because the Blockade Runner states on it, every time it attacks the base, it gains 1 experience token, so the thing can actually get out of hand if your opponent doesn't have a way to stop it from getting out of hand, which is pretty nice overall. I really do like it 100%. It's another reason why I really like red, because most decks don't have maybe a response to that. So anyways, we're going to have the Infused Brawler attack the base here for 4, then lose 1 experience token. Then we're going to have the Blockade Runner attack the base, and it's going to gain 1 experience token because of its own effect, because it did deal damage to the base. Again, if it deals combat damage to anything else, it does not gain that experience token. So anyways, we're going to go for a Chura to immediately block out the ground there, meaning that BT1 can't go through that. Anyways, we're going to go then use Piett to then play the Invisible Hand, and we're going to look at the top 7 for a droid. Again, we can grab any droid to our hand, and then, but if it's 3 costs or less, we do get to play it for free. I'm going to put out the Gonk droid. Again, on attack, I can reduce the place cost of my next unit by 1. So I'm just going to leave Piett right now in his leader position here, because there's not really a purpose to do that. So I'm just going to mill the top card, hit Church for 2, and then kill off BT1 there, and then Chur is going to be able to use the force there to then negate the damage of BT1 coming at it. Again, being able to use the force, allowing you to negate the 2 damage you receive on Piett. On Chur. But the big problem now is my opponent has to face down this space board of a Blockade Runner that can get 1 stronger each time it attacks, and as well as I'm able to spam out droids using, of course, the Invisible Hand here. So my opponent has to find a way to deal with that. Now, again, it's not impossible. They are in blue. They do have access to cards that are able to kill it. For instance, Hyperspace Disaster, or for example, as well, Lost and Forgotten, Retaliation, and everything like that. So anyways, we're going to go for the Visible Hand, attacking the base, and then we're going to go look at the top 7 for a droid. We are going to get the probe droid here, or the interrogation droid, that is going to then rest the turret onto the battlefield. Doesn't really matter, the force is already there, but nonetheless, we do get, of course, the probe droid, or the interrogation droid coming down, but turret does not have to, our opponent does not have to remove a card from their hand, because again, the interrogation droid only does that for 3 or less cost of guys. We're going to go no disintegration to hit the Invisible Hand for half it, leaving it only with 1 health point left. I did joke to my opponent why they didn't go after the Blockade Runner, but I realized that the whole kind of dangerous point of the Blockade Runner is that it just continues to get 1 stronger, so Aurra wouldn't be able to immediately be able to kill it, because I would just respond by attacking and then gaining another experience token. Aurra is going to be able to kill off the Invisible Hand, we're then going to swing the Blockade Runner, then it's going to be able to get another experience token, because again, on attack, it would gain another experience token. So anyways, we're going to do collateral damage, and we're going to kill off the interrogation droid and then deal 2 damage to my base. From there, we did put down the Dordarian gunship, and then all that 3 indirect damage did go at my opponent. They did put on the base. I'm going to go for a partisan to come down here, and then it's going to put my opponent on 220 points there. Basically, there's no way for them to out this, unless, of course, they have a Lost and Forgotten to be able to deal with the board state here. We are at 7 as well, so meaning that we do have the ability to go for Hyperspace Disaster if my opponent did have it, which would be quite nasty, because that immediately would knock out both of my major guys currently on the battlefield, and I'm not really doing much on the ground right now because I can't really get through that turret. Because again, the force right now is active, meaning the turret has the full effect here as well. So we're going to go for no disintegrations onto the Blockade Runner here, which means I have to swing for the Blockade Runner if I do not want to get killed off here. And then the Blockade Runner, just kind of deciding on what I really want to do here. My opponent, I just point out to my opponent about the Blockade Runner being able to swing the base and then be able to give it 1 more experience token here, and then being able to go from there. Meaning that there's not really much else my opponent can do. So anyways, they're going to flip the Aurra Sing to kill off, of course, the Blockade Runner. The problem is they couldn't really kill off both. I thought they could actually get both that turn. The whole aspect is they really weren't able to really do it at all because of the Bavarian gunship and all, and the blockade runner there. So we're just kind of pointing it out. This game is pretty much over here with the Bavarian gunship in the air, and all that. So anyways, I'm going to do 2 damage, and then turret's going to basically then negate that, and then the next unit I play does cost 1 less for the ability of the partisan on death, and then I'm going to take 3 damage, and then that's going to be generating the force there. We're going to have the Bavarian attack, and then that's just going to be a straight scoop up from my opponent because there's nothing they can do about it. That blockade runner really did put in that work there early. It didn't help my opponent, also didn't see anything to play in game number 1 and had to quickly scoop that one up. But with that said, guys, hope you enjoyed. Do let me know down in the comments if you guys have tried either of these leaders and either of these colorations or base styles. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you know when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mom Dragons TCG.